Good morning and welcome everyone to the 1 Million Cups podcast for the community, by the community. My name is Dion Wells Ross and we are coming back with the heat. Today I have my friend Wilson. Wilson, how are you doing, man?
Good, how about yourself?
Same, I'm doing really well. So my friends, today will be a little different. We aren't going to talk about entrepreneurship, more so about adversity and how you can use it to become great and really to achieve. So adversity is the ultimate catalyst. Mm-hmm. So Wilson, to start out, I know you have one heck of a story. Yeah. Tell us about your story and then I'll follow up with what you learned from it.
All right, so my story, well, first off, thank you so much for having me on here. It's an honor. My story, though, begins 19 years ago in China. I was found on a hospital doorstep, no forms of identification. I mean, I still have like the baby rattle that they found me with over there.
Wow.
Ads ran in the paper saying, hey, we have a young male here, young baby boy. Anybody could have stepped forward, nobody did. Unable to stay at the hospital. I then went to the orphanage system in China, which was a little sketchy at the time. They had some things going on that weren't great. And this period of anywhere from 1 to 2 to 9, 10 months, it's unclear. I know I was in the orphanage system, but don't know where, don't know what happened to me. We can say that during this time, it's probably where I got a mark. I have a mark on my physical body of, they believe, either my birth family, most likely the orphanages, did brand me. So I have a mark on my left side that has like Mandarin symbols on it, but just due to growing, it's warped. After being in the orphanage system at 10 months, I came to America and was adopted by my family here.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I know
Absolutely.
It's really, I'll say, personal and not easy. When you look at that mark, what do you think now? It's not like you were born with it. It's something like it represents, this was the beginning stage of my life. What does it mean to you today?
It means resilience. It reminds me, that mark is always going to be there. When I was younger, it reminded me of my adoption. And it didn't remind me essentially in the best way. Growing up, when you're adopted, and not only when you're adopted, but I feel like we all do this as a world and as people, we followed the path of whys. Why did it happen? What does it mean for me? What did I do to deserve it? And with me specifically, it was trying to figure that out. There are these stories I'd see all over the news and in movies of these families after they gave birth to their child. The first thing to do is skin-to-skin contact. Yeah. And it's when you look at that child, you knew that that's your whole world. Fell in love with it in an instant. And so I'd look at those and go, well, why didn't that happen for me? Mm-hmm. And so really just understanding the whys of my adoption. Unfortunately for me in my circumstances, I won't ever know the whys. Mm-hmm. So it's how do I then learn to live in the gray? How do I learn to live with the answers being unknown?
For sure.
And so that mark, it looked as a thing of, down. I viewed my adoption as very poor. I didn't want to be adopted. I hated it. I felt like I was nothing. I attributed everything in my life to my birth parents, and that if they didn't want me, if I wasn't good enough for them, would I be good enough for anybody? It was about middle school, high school years where a couple of revelations came, and it turned everything around, and now I kind of view that mark as a positive thing, as it's always going to be there, so why not have it be a little kick in the butt every single time to go out there, help the world, be a better person, and not only elevate myself but elevate others.
For sure. I love, Wilson, that you have this natural optimism to you. You could have allowed that to be negative. Like you said, when something like that happens, it's so easy to say why. I'll use myself as an example here. Just being diagnosed with MS, I have a disability. It's easy to say, why me? Like, surely there are people that are worse than me that could have MS that aren't doing anything. I'm trying to do something positive, but here I am with the disability. And it took some time, but I realized it's not for me, it's for other people, right? Having a story to make a difference and to inspire people, which I think is a really good segue, Wilson. So you haven't allowed that disadvantage to hold you back. It's more so been that catalyst to spring you forward.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that. I know you're doing some cool stuff. You wrote a book. You share more about your story. Tell us about it.
So, at the end of the day, when I was in middle school and high school, like I said, it was a negative thing in my life. And so I'd get into these fits where I didn't want to do anything. It was probably, looking back, probably some mental health. But It was when I was kind of talking with a friend, and my big thing when I go to speak at places is friendship. The power of friendship is so underrated, because when I was talking to this friend, maybe 100th time in the day, you know, I don't feel like I'm anything, I'm sorry for coming for you. It kind of snapped at me and said, hey, we choose to be here for you. And realizing that your friends choose to be there for you. You know, it's the similarities of why people get brought together, but it's how they learn to love the differences for why they stay. And knowing that I had always a support system of friends to stay around and always talk to, that really just showed me the positives that adoption brings and what it's brought me and the opportunities. Our time's limited in this world. I don't know about you, but I'd rather not sit and dwell on the things that are unfavorable. I'd rather look at it as a way to help others and then move forward and, you know, like I said, you know, improve myself and improve others.
Absolutely.
But, you know, after making that realization, I knew that there was a need for it. People, you know, people that are adopted, people that aren't adopted, I knew what my message was, and I knew that it was good, and it came from a good place. And so that's when I started getting involved with different agencies, nonprofits, articles. I've done a lot of local podcasts. I've been on Van Dieb's podcast, Shannon Bingham's podcast, Sandy Spady's TV show. So just really getting involved in the community. Because without Omaha, without this community, I'm nothing. You know, this is the community that raised me, so I want to give back to it. And so after getting involved in these different national media and articles, I decided, you know what, I've been kind of saying the same stuff over. Let me just get it down in a book. So I can just be like, yep, read my book. It has everything. And the book's called Marked by Adoption. It's on Amazon, $14.99. And in there it's got 10 insights I believe the public should know. And just some of the reviews I've gotten and the DMs I've gotten are just so heartwarming. And birth mothers are telling me they feel 20 years later after they place their child for adoption that they don't have the guilt. And it's just seeing the whole personality change of someone who just felt responsible for, you know, giving up a child. Having that go away, it's incredible to me. I've had families reach out from California, Las Vegas, Nevada, Utah, just saying, we bought your book and it's changed our family dynamic. We know how to talk. Our child didn't know how to tell us, but they told us to buy the book and just pointed. And just hearing these stories, adoptive parents, I've realized that, oh my God, this gives me an insight of what my child could understand, it could feel like. And just having these different, I could go on and on about these reviews I've gotten, but it's so heartwarming, and every time it's just another, you know, say catalyst for what I want to do, because I'm making a change right now, but I know that there's a lot more need for change, and so that's what my goal is. I want to help others get that done.
Love that.
Absolutely.
It's the epitome of taking a mess and turning it into a message. You could have found every single excuse in the world to not be who you are, to be happy. And to be frank, hopefully I don't offend anyone here, but I hate when I see people and I'm like, how are you today? And they're like, I'm okay. Like, just okay? Like, I understand life is hard. We're gonna have our down days, but how can you just be okay every day if you're alive? And it comes down to your attitude and your perspective. So, Wilson, you are 19, right?
I am, yes. I'm
man,
old.
you're so young. You're so old, man. That's funny. I'm like 25 years older than you. I'm just joking, bro. I'm not that old yet.
I don't have a March Madness on, though. So, you know, gonna bring that up. What I got a March Madness win.
Yeah, no, that's funny. Well, man, so what's next for you as you think about, like, after college, what type of impact do you really want to make?
You know, that's a big question. You know, around this age, you get a lot of like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life after you've done just high school? And so, I mean, for me, I've kind of already doing it, you know? It's not so much, you know, what do you want to do 5 years later? Because if we keep thinking about what we want to do 5 years later, we'll forget about the now. And so I'm going to take it one day at a time, go on podcasts, speak out, get more speaking gigs, try and just move people, help my book sales. So big picture, I want to help others, be a speaker, be an influencer on the adoption side, help all angles of adoption. I think birth mothers, people are easy to cast stones before they're in those spots, and you know, I see that some of the strongest people I know, specifically the one I'm thinking of, she's a birth mother, and I mean, what she's been through and what she can do with her story is just incredible. It's just helping her see that. With adoptive parents, you know that that's your child, and help them have the resources able, because parenting's hard. Are you a parent? I don't know.
No, I'm not. I have 2 dogs, and that's enough for me.
Yeah,
like,
I can't imagine. It's always easy to say, you know, when I'm a parent, I'm going to do this, but we don't know what that's like, because we aren't one. And so just positioning myself of what I can speak in and what I can speak on, and then just going out there and sharing my message to, when the world's pushing you one way, stand your ground, tell the world no. Hard things aren't going to go away. Life is hard. Life's going to throw hard stuff at me, but it's up to me of how much I let it affect me, and so kind of adversity, overcoming adversity, that's my message, and just getting that out there.
Yeah, I love it. One of the things we teach in my business is called the adversity equation. E plus P equals R. There are going to be experiences, they're positive and negative. It's just the way life goes. Perspective is positive or negative, and it's like, that's what makes the difference.
Absolutely.
If you have a positive perspective, you'll produce positive results. So, as we are winding down, Wilson, what would be your closing message to someone that's going through something difficult right now? And they kind of just need some hope. They need some inspiration for the future, whether it's a student, an entrepreneur, a mom. What advice would you give them? It can be something from your book, or maybe it's just something you just thought of right now.
I'd say, one, find a support system. There's a lot of help out there. The world's good. No matter, not even if you watch the news, it's kind of tempted to think the world's real bad.
Yeah, it depends what you watch.
Yeah, the world's good. And so find your support system. There's other people that have been in your shoes, and really just know that the sun will come up tomorrow, and that, it's not going to be easy. God's plan for me and plan for you isn't a straight line. It's hilly, but at the end of it, it's going to be His plan. So just have faith in Him, work hard, rely on others, and know that you control your story. You're the author of your own narrative. So just have faith in that. And I think when people realize that, they're more likely to, kick it in the butt and get going.
Yeah, no, I love that. The sun is going to rise tomorrow. So, final thing, Wilson, how can the community stay in touch with you? How can we follow you and support you?
So it's just my social media. Just Instagram is my big one. It's Wilson, WILSON MUNS. And then just same thing with my Facebook, it's that username. And then my book is on Amazon again, $14.99, marked by adoption, and the subtitle is 10 Key Insights from the Adoptee's Perspective.
I love it. All right, there we have it, my friends. We'll see you on the next one.